Is your business currently carrying a lot of debt on high interest business credit cards? What if you could move those balances over to another business credit card with 0% interest for up to 18 months? And on top of that, what if you had the opportunity to earn cashback rewards as well? So today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 business credit cards for balance transfers that actually make sense to use this year. Now, I'm going to be ranking these cards based off of 4 key areas. 1, how available they are, so national availability versus regional or local availability. How long you actually get to keep and use that 0% interest time period. The balance transfer fees with these cards. And if you'll actually get the opportunity to earn rewards with the card or not. Now, there's one key thing I'm going to share with you in this, and that is if you do have higher amounts of business debt that you want to transfer over to these new 0% interest business credit cards, there's one problem you might run into, and that's having enough money on the new card to cover the balances that you have on the old cards. A lot of people think it's really easy to get higher limits on the business side, and while business credit cards do have higher limits than personal cards, it is still harder to get the higher limits because there is a lot that goes into it. It's a layered process of being able to get those higher limits. So if you want to know how to get those higher limits on these future business credit cards so that you can have enough debt to transfer over and so that you can have enough available credit to transfer your old debt over, or just to get a higher limit business credit card that you can use for the purposes of operating your business and growing, scaling your business, then make sure you're paying attention throughout and watch the entire video so you can learn how to do that. Now, I'm going to save the best card for last, and the first card we're going to talk about today is the Business Visa credit card from Elon Financial underwritten banks. Now, if you have not heard of Elon Financial, it's because they are not just one of the regular banks that you would normally hear about. They do underwriting for a lot of smaller banks and credit unions. So pretty much any banks that are affiliated with them or credit unions, they have the same underwriting process and they have all of the same business credit cards available. And what you'll usually see is on that bank's website, when you apply, you might see that all of the cards look similar and they might have different, colors or logos. But the features and the names of the business credit cards are all going to be the same as far as the lineup of options that they have available for you. For example, one of those banks is Bryant Bank. And again, there are lots of different banks and credit unions that use Elon's lineup of business credit cards, which makes this widely available to a lot of people. So this is something that a lot of you guys can take advantage of. Now, one of the major benefits that you get from this Business Visa credit card is going to be the extremely long 0% interest period, which they give you 18 months. Now, the balance transfer fee on this is going to be about 3%. And I do hear some people, gripe about having to pay a percentage of the debt that you're carrying over. And if you think about it, at 3%, versus the likely, 20 something percent that you're paying in interest on those other cards, that is relatively low. And especially if you know you can pay off the debt within the 18-month time frame, which that is what you should be looking at. If you can actually pay the debt off in a time frame and you will be dedicated to actually doing so that this actually works for the goal you're trying to accomplish, which is getting this debt paid off at a lower cost. Now, this card is going to have no rewards, no cash back or anything like that. So the major benefit here is definitely the longer 0% interest period. And a lot of balance transfer cards don't really give you an option as far as rewards, but we do have some that we are going to talk about. But this is a very good card based off of the length of time you get that 0% interest. Now, one of the things that's also a drawback with Elon is going to be that usually you're going to get a lower limit with this business credit card. They don't usually give out a lot of high limits through Elon Financial outside of certain situations. You might see 3,000, 5,000 maybe. So it's really important to do all you can to optimize getting higher limits. But let's go ahead and move on to the next card. Now, the next card we're going to be talking about is the Huntington Voice Business Credit Card. Now, this particular card is only available in the Midwest region. And this one is really good for earning rewards while you're trying to free up cash flow. So if you're in the Midwest region, then this is something that might work for you. Now with this one, you're not getting 18 months as far as 0% interest, but you do get 12 months, which is a whole year to pay off your debt at 0% interest. This particular card has a 3% transfer fee, and you actually get 4% back in your choice of a category. So that's really good because you not only get a choice versus having to deal with whatever, preset categories they already have, and you also getting that at 4%, so that's really good. And they have things like groceries, travel, gas, which for business, you might not be using this for groceries unless you have like a restaurant or something like that. But they definitely do have a good range of options for you to choose as far as the category that you will want to use. And again, most balance transfer credit cards don't really give you rewards, so getting your choice at 4% is really good. Now, the next business credit card we're going to talk about is the Fairwinds Credit Union Business Cash or Business Rewards Visa. Now, with credit unions, as you know, it's usually different options that you can use to get into the door by joining some nonprofit organization or paying some fee for a membership at some type of organization. But this one is going to be one that is located in Florida. So for those of you that are in Florida, this is going to be good for you if you don't get in the door from one of those other options. Now, this one has a 12 months at 0% interest. So of course, that's a year. Very good. Now, another great thing about this card is that there is no balance transfer fee. So you don't have to pay anything to transfer your debt over to this. And if you add that on top of getting to pay 0% for 12 months, this is a very cheap way to pay off that debt that you have for the business already. Now, with either of these two cards, you can get up to $2,000 in rewards back from welcome bonuses. But currently it is tied to, of course, how much you spend. And as far as that dollar amount, to get 500 of those dollars, you would have to spend 5,000 in the first 90 days. And to get the other $1,500, you would have to spend about 50,000 in the first 180 days. So just keep that in mind. And this card does come with rewards as well, and you get 1.5% in cash back or points depending on which card you choose. So that's also really good. No categories there. Now, the next card we're going to talk about is the PNC Business Visa credit card. Now, one of the benefits of this one is PNC is a bigger bank, so this is going to be more broadly available to more people. As far as 0% interest period, 13 months to do that, so a little more than the standard year that most banks are going to give you. The only downfalls to this card is going to be that there are no rewards on it, and the balance transfer fee is a little bit higher than the other cards at 5%. So for those of you that don't have the ability to get access to the other cards we already mentioned, this one is going to be more available to more people, and you will get 13 months versus 12 months. You just have to make a sacrifice as far as getting rewards, and you will have to pay a little bit more in transfer fee. And if you've been getting value from this video so far, make sure you give a thumbs up to let YouTube know that this is a good video to show. And out of the cards that I mentioned so far, let me know down in the comments which one are you considering for your balance transfer. And don't forget, in a second, I'm gonna let you know what you can do to get higher limits when you are going for these balance transfer cards, so you'll have enough credit available in order to transfer those higher balances over and benefit. But I help business owners all the time get higher amounts of funding than they're usually able to achieve themselves by just walking into a branch or going and applying online, especially those businesses that are new and have not generated any revenue yet, all the way to those more seasoned businesses that are actually earning larger amounts of revenue. Because in either situation, you can always use money to scale. So if you want help in obtaining more funding for your business within the next 30 days, especially while banks are tightening up right now and you have to do a little bit more to get more money from the banks, go down to the description below and book a funding strategy session with me so I can help you get the money you need to grow and scale your business. Now, that number one card that we're going to talk about today is going to be the U.S. Bank Triple Cash Business Credit Card. Now, U.S. Bank is, of course, a bigger bank, so they are available to more people. Even if you don't have one in your region, you are still able to apply for a business credit card with U.S. Bank. And again, with this bank, it's not always easiest to get the higher limits initially, unless you know more of the steps that you need to take. And then, of course, knowing how to get even higher limits on the back end after building a bit of a stronger relationship in a more strategic way than most people would do. But with this card, you get 12 months at 0% interest, which is great. Now on this one, it does have the higher end as far as the balance transfer fees at 5%. But here is where this card is really more of a standout, and that's with the rewards. You get 3% cash back on gas, office supplies, cell phone, and restaurants. You also get 1% on everything else. So with this card, getting 12 months at 0%, having a bank that's more available to more people, having a 3% cashback rewards on some pretty common options, and still getting 1% on everything else that doesn't meet the 3%, in my opinion, makes this the best card all around to use. Now, if you have a card that you think would be a better option, please go down to the comments and let me know which option you think is actually a better option based off your opinion. But as I mentioned, if you don't get a high enough limit on the business credit card that you get for a balance transfer, you can have whatever you might deem to be the best business credit card for the balance transfer. But if you don't have enough money available to put your debt over there, then all of that will be for nothing. So if you want to know how you can get higher limits on your business credit cards, I want you to take a look at this example of how I helped a client secure higher limits on business credit cards, including $50,000 on one business credit card for one bank. And if your credit score isn't high enough to probably get approved for some of these cards, let alone getting a higher limit, check out this video and I'll see you in the next one.